Back to work on the parts washer. Clean this screen. I'm going to put the screen back on here and going to place this filter. Alright, this cleaned up pretty well. So now I'm ready to put this back on as soon as I put a new filter in. Oh, I missed the back side there in that corner. Ooh, okay. Alright, so now I need to replace this filter. And I was looking at this filter and I was looking at the kind of material it's made out of. And what it really reminded me of, quite frankly, was a like a Scotch-Brite pad, one of those kind of scouring pads. And I checked at Napa to see if they had these filters, and all they had were the filters for the Smart Wash system, which uses Aussie juice, that's the stuff that's in my local Napa. It's $95 a gallon. That's the biodegradable, I think they call it. That's the stuff that actually has enzymes in it that break down and actually literally eat the oil molecules or something like that. It's supposed to be really great stuff. Apparently you don't need to use gloves or anything. You don't have to have a safety lid on the Smart Washer. The Smart Washer's got an open top to it. But that Smart Washer is about $2,500, and then the fluid's $95 for 5 gallons. So if you're a professional shop, it might be worth having that. I saw the video on YouTube of made by the company showing how great their product is, and it does look really nice for the application that they were showing in an automotive shop, where you could wheel the unit right over and put it underneath the wheel of a car that's up on a lift and clean the brakes. Whereas, one of the shop owners was saying normally we use 2 to 3 cans brake cleaner easily on a brake job. We're saving that much because this fluid basically just goes right back down and gets recycled. So that's certainly one way to think about it. But not for me. For me, we got the good old solvent-based fluid, and we've got these cheesy little filters, which I found out that this, I don't know if I mentioned it already, but I found out that this particular brand of parts washer was actually sold through the Northern Tool catalog. And I actually saw another brand of parts washer use the same exact pump setup and filter. So I think this is kind of a fairly generic common deal. But as far as this goes, if I hold it up to the light, you cannot see any light through it whatsoever. It's very dirty. Just for the heck of it, I'm going to try and wash this and see what it looks like. Wow, it actually cleaned up a lot better than I thought it would. Just used really hot water and just kept squeezing it out like a sponge until I didn't see anything but clean water coming out of it. And it actually not that bad. Kind of still nasty on this side. Good here, but now if I hold it up to the light, you can see the light through it. So what I had started to talk about was a Scotch-Brite pad. So what I did was I bought a large Scotch-Brite pad at the auto parts store, and I was going to cut a square out of it and use that to replace this filter. But now, in retrospect, since this cleaned up pretty decent, I think I'm going to just reinstall this filter. Alright, now I wanted to mention, I saw a video on YouTube a guy put up. I'll check and see if I can find the video, and I'll put his name up on the screen here so you can check it out for yourself. But it's basically a video of him showing modifications he did to his parts washer. So he did a few things to his parts washer that were pretty cool. One of the things he did was he added an outboard filter. So what he did was he mounted, like right here, he mounted a filter housing with a spin-on filter, and I think he used a number 8. I forgot what the part number of the filter was, but it's a pretty common, cheap spin-on filter, oil filter. And he made a hole right here so that he could run a line through. So basically he had the pump pumping the fluid through the filter before it went out the nozzle. And he just keeps changing out his filter, and he says that works really well keeping his parts fluid clean. So that was kind of interesting. And then I'm trying to think of what other modifications he made. Oh, he put wheels on his. That was another modification he made. And there was something else, but I can't quite remember what it was. But it's worth taking a look if you've got a parts washer and you're thinking about doing some things to it. You know, maybe some point down the road I might consider doing that. I honestly don't think I'm going to use this parts washer enough to warrant doing any more real modifications to this, other than I might actually end up replacing the bad switch so that I can turn it on and off without having to unplug it. And I was also intrigued about the idea of having that light on the top here, but the cheapest fluorescent light fixture I could find, even online, was still like over 20 bucks. So I was thinking, I don't know if I'm gonna even bother. Alright, so that's you feed the cord back through, and this just it's got like a lip that it clips onto the side of the case there, and that's in. And then you just take your output tube and hook it back up to whatever your output is. On this particular unit, I've got, it goes into a T-valve, and that lets me switch between the faucet output here, or nozzle for lack of a better term, to a hose that also will take my brush. Alright, now I've decided I'm not going to go through the time and trouble of sanding down the whole inside and repainting it. I'm going to vac out all the debris that's in there and paint chips and stuff like that. But the one, and I'm not going to bother on the little bins either. The one thing I am going to give some attention to, though, is the main shelf here, because that's in really bad shape. That's down to bare metal. What I like is that this bare metal doesn't look like it's actually rusting. This actually looks like it's all on the surface. It's kind of hard to tell until I scour some of that off. I'd be interested to see how badly rusted that is. Alright, my cup wire wheel attachment for my angle grinder is going to make quick work of this. Nope, that ain't happening. I was already worried a little bit about the noise. Making way too much dust down here. Rusty dust. This is the kind of job that I can wait till tomorrow morning and do it outside. Well, it's the week before Thanksgiving, and the weather just suddenly turned very cold. We've got an Arctic air mass that's moved in, and it's actually 30 degrees right now, and it's about midday. And this whole week, actually, it looks like the forecast calls for unseasonably, or I should say, temperatures below average for this time of year in New England. But I gotta get this thing sanded, and there was too much, making way too much dust out in down in the basement, so I'll take care of that today. A couple of spots here where there's still some grease on there. Let's try one of these flap discs. This is the particular one's from Norton Company. This is a medium 80 grit flap disc. That's what it looks like out of the package. Threads onto your angle grinder. Oh, that's a lot more aggressive. Some of this corrosion is just so bad. There's no way I'm going to make this perfectly smooth again. Unless I wanted to go through the trouble of using some body filler and putting some body filler on there and sanding it down. That's a lot more involved than I want to get. Whew, my fingers are getting frostbit. Just gonna do the edges now. Good enough.